plane flies over oceans and spans continents. It has conquered distances and made the people of all the world next-door neighbors. But nothing in the history of aeronautics is more fascinating than the conquest of the Andes, America's highest mountains. Only a few years ago, it was an adventure to cross the rugged masses of Earth which made two separate worlds of the Eastern and Pacific republics of South America. But today, one of these luxurious airliners makes the trip from the capital of Chile to Mendoza, Argentina in exactly 1 hour and 5 minutes. An hour and 5 minute unforgettable scenes. First, the thriving metropolis of Santiago, around which is gathered so much of the tradition and romance of the southern continent. Here on the banks of the Mapocho River, where Pedro de Valdivia paused in his march southward 4 centuries ago, stands a progressive world city, a city of picturesque parks, palaces, and ultra-modern skyscrapers. Just as the historic hill Cerro San Cristobal slips beneath our wings, the mighty mountains loom before us, their fantastic peaks sprinkled with snow, while the radio operator keeps in constant touch with the weatherman on the ground. Up, 10,000, 12,000, 14,000 feet, the great plain climbs with all the grace and ease of the ancient condor, the giant bird which once made its home in these dizzy heights. The Andes among the wonders of the world. The irresistible force of these monarchs of the earth have determined the ethnological, the economic, the cultural developments of a vast continent. Here in the spacious cabin of our plane, with all the comforts and conveniences of a Pullman car and the vigilant services of the purser, we have nothing to do but enjoy this stupendous spectacle beneath us. Although we're 2.5 miles high, there's heat to protect us from the cold of this upper world. Oxygen tubes are handy, but we have no need for them. And there are no uncertainties in the cockpit either, for the pilot has been told just what to expect ahead. From a weather station here in the very heart of the peaks, scientific observers report conditions every few minutes. As we approach, they release a balloon to determine the exact velocity of the wind. Science and religion side by side. Here in this remote valley, his arms outstretched in blessing to us and to all travelers, stands the Christ of the Andes, the monument set up on the borderline between Chile and Argentina, a symbol pledging eternal peace between two great nations. At times, as we slide through these great passes, the plane seems suspended in midair, and the mountains appear close enough to touch. But our speed is nearly 3 miles a minute, and the mountains are miles away. And here is the queen of all American peaks, Mount Aconcagua, rising bleak and forbidding 23,098 feet above the continent. through this majestic world in 1817, the immortal San Martin, the George Washington of Argentina, led his weary but determined soldiers to join with Chileans and other patriots and drive the representatives of the Spanish king from the New World forever. On foot and on muleback, they climbed these craggy wastes, spurred on by an unfaltering faith and courage. They toiled and suffered. Theirs were the uncharted mountain passes, but ours is the open sky. It took them days to completely make it in 65 minutes. Times the pilots and radio operators of the Pan American Grace Airways have made this crossing. Conquistadores they, just like the soldiers who dominated the same scene more than 100 years before. So far, we have spanned but a part of this vast network of airlines which extends 4,552 miles from Cristobal to Buenos Aires and Montevideo, from the Panama Canal to the great cities of the Rio de la Plata. We have done only 175 miles so far, but this 175 miles has given us a magnificent opportunity to experience all the progress and all the rugged beauty and glamour which man and nature have to offer in far South America. The fertile valleys of Chile, their green fields and their great city, the deep canyons and glorious peaks of the New World's loftiest mountains, and finally the progressive city of Mendoza, nestling among the vineyards of the Argentine wine country. Mendoza, the western outpost of the Pampa, which stretches away 600 miles to the Atlantic, and to Buenos Aires, the Paris of the Western Hemisphere. And we too have shared in the conquest of the Andes.